Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 87 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with fellow eggs Matt M. and Brian Haremza. I think you guys liked the episode from last week. We definitely have the views. We have the views from the last couple episodes, so we appreciate that. I still don't know what the episode was about. If it's your first time listening to the show, we do something called Sunny Side Up. It's our good news of the week. And this week it is Bryant.
Well, I'm going to be honest with my fellow eggs here. I have nothing. I have been on a
Repeat.
I've been on a 14 straight work day. I have had to let 3 people go, and and then I just had to suspend 2 people today. I'm not doing well, guys. I'll be honest, not doing well. My next scheduled day off that I'm being allowed to take will be basically Labor Day. So not doing well, guys. Just gonna be honest with everybody. My fellow eggs can attest. Been a little quiet in the chat as well that we have with our group chat. I've just been working constantly, and so if that's, I guess I have a job, sunny side up. I mean, at this point, but yeah, not doing good, guys. I'll be truthful.
Nothing like letting people go and then picking up the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and then with the hiring process we have, it takes usually about a month to get people on.
Yeah.
So we're still looking at about a month before I can even get people in the door to start getting them to work. And yeah,
we have a process like that as well. It takes a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
drug testing, 3 interviews.
Yeah, ours is background. The background check, because we do third party, and it takes them usually 10 to 14 business days. So that's what
the best.
Business days are the best part of that. So that's what drags it out so much. So just working away, guys. Sunny side up.
Especially with me and you, like our business days are when we're open, and you're open all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's not the way it works with the background checks.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah.
Well, great news.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do a little better than that.
Hope so.
You guys know about my Morgan Wallen problems. The concert that I tried to get into.
Yes.
And I just couldn't pull the trigger on the pricing. Well, I don't remember. I think I told you guys when I first got the pre-sale, it said there were 80,000 people in front of me. So I always just think like, well, if 80,000 people are trying to buy tickets for a limited amount of tickets for this pre-sale, why am I even waiting in this room? It just doesn't make sense. Well, I thought I was going to redeem myself. I was trying to redeem myself and get tickets to Luke Combs. Another great country singer. A lot of great songs. I wouldn't say as big as Morgan Wallen, but I'd say he's a top 5, 6, 7, 8 country guy out there right now. So I don't even tell my wife. What's the point? I joined a bootleggers pre-sale. And what does that mean? I don't know. Did I get to go first? No, there was 236,000 people in front of me when I got into that room. But the craziest thing happened. Little by little, I was getting closer and closer. At first, I got in this room when I was driving. Not a big deal because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to sit there. And then I went to Walmart, my favorite place. Was able to do all my shopping. And I get home and I'm taking my first dog out after I put the groceries away. And I'm in the tickets. And there were plenty available. I was able to secure 2 seats, upper level, which is what I wanted, but in the center. So we're going to Luke Combs, and just around the corner, April 24th.
Oh, just blink of the eye away.
Success.
Yes.
But how did that match up with 200,000 people in the waiting room?
So this is what I think. You had to have a password for that bootleggers pre-sale. My guess is that they actually just got into the pre-sale and they were in the waiting room, but you didn't actually put your password in until you got into the opportunity to buy tickets.
Yeah. You unlock later.
Yeah. That's the only explanation I have, especially for reasonably priced tickets still being available.
Was this a paid password?
No.
No, usually when you sign up for sites like that, they just send you like, here's your day before, here's the pass or whatever like that.
A half hour before. Still couldn't get in there until the time of, but yeah,
no, absolutely.
Success. I got tickets.
A mere 4 months, 5 months away. No, it's like 8 months.
Yeah, it's only 8 months. So much. What's going to happen in there? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, another birthday. Baseball season will be starting again. Football season will be over. The NCAA playoffs will be over. That's it. The tournament's
Baseball,
done.
No,
It's
nothing.
so
baseball
much.
starting again is the one that you got me on there. You plenty of time to save up for some Surfsides.
Oh
Yes.
man.
And Brad, I don't know if you put two and two together or if you care, but the opening act for that is Treaty Oak Revival.
I did see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I did
they're
see that.
they're
Be
great.
careful for their song, one of their songs there, Brad. I will
Well,
say that.
I don't think he's gonna be in range
Ah, that's true. Yeah.
Definitely not going to be in
in the
anybody's
splash
range.
zone.
All right,
Yeah.
Matt, what do you got for us?
So a few weeks ago, I complained about my airline experience, and then I came back and I said, you know what? That Starlink internet was pretty great because I had full internet flight. You know what I neglected to mention though? We have Elon to thank for that because that is a SpaceX project, this
Ah,
Starlink internet. And we don't I don't know if Elon is a political figure. Maybe he was at some point, but it's not really something we talk about here, not something I'm going to talk about. Not my favorite guy, but I did actually buy some of the stock when, when the IPO was released. When I make investments, they're tiny little investments of interest. I'm not trying to change my financial situation. Like, years ago, I bought a bunch of like WWE stock because I like WWE, not trying to retire on it or anything. Um, but there's just a lot of overlapping Venn diagrams there with the internet and the stock and everything. I thought it was worth mentioning that we have Elon to actually thank for that.
thank you,
Um,
Elon.
was that?
Thank you, Elon.
Thank you, Elon. And speaking of investments, this has not been discussed on the show, but I have made another tiny investment in a crowd-funded film studio called Legion M, which I'm guessing most people have no idea what that is, and I didn't until recently. But it is in fact a crowd-funded movie studio that is trying to put their power behind the distribution of some independent type of films. This past weekend, the movie that Green Day was involved in came out called Nimrods, and they had a partnership in that deal. And guess what? The movie we've all been looking forward to, Coyote versus Acme, is also under the umbrella of Legion M, which I am
Wow.
now officially a very small time investor in.
So,
Congratulations.
so free tickets to
And
the movies, what you're
yeah,
saying for
I
us?
don't think so. I
No,
don't think so.
We had our chance, Bryant. We
Yeah, I
had our
don't
it's
think
chance.
true.
so. Similarly, we all know what Nielsen ratings are, right?
Sure.
Um, so I got a letter in the mail. They solicit for participation, right? I got a letter in the mail with, a little welcome sheet and everything. And want me to participate. And in the letter, it said, we have included a gift, a thank you gift. Who knows what that gift was?
Is it $1?
It was a $5 bill.
Oh,
Inflation, I guess.
yeah.
But it was an actual $5 bill just
Hmm.
sent to me through the mail by some company who wants me to help them out. And I didn't even finish reading the letter, and my son had already yanked it out of my hand and put it in his wallet.
Hmm.
But I thought that was funny. They're just out there sending money in the mail.
Yep. So we had a Nielsen before. Sue and I had. We got $1, and then we did a survey for them, and they sent us a second package. The second package had $35 in it. So
Cash
cash
in the
Wow.
mail.
in the mail.
It did say if we continue to participate, the gifts will continue.
That's exactly
Cash
it.
in the
It
mail
continues.
is insane.
Cash in the mail.
Is that
Cash.
even like legally allowed to
It's
do that?
legally allowed, but
Hell,
also
it
if
is.
it's lost, it's lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
very
there's
interesting.
people this is not a secret. There's people out there who know that like if you see an envelope that says Nielsen on it, there might be money inside.
Right,
There you
right.
go.
Especially now with all the people
Yeah.
listening.
I
Yeah.
always used to think that about like when I used to get Ticketmaster tickets in the mail. It's like I by now I know what that envelope looks like. There's somebody's tickets in there, you
Hmm.
know?
Yes.
So we'll end the sunny side up there, but we have to talk about some expired eggs. Very unfortunately. Hayden Panettiere, 36 years old. What a terrible fucking tragedy. I know that she's had some troubles. I mean, a lot of
Mm.
celebrities do, a lot of normal people do. I'm sorry for everything she might have had to go through. Some addiction problems and postpartum problems, and I know her brother passed away. Really terrible. I think she was a pretty well liked person. She was in a lot of things people saw. I mean, I never watched Nashville, but I know she was on that show for a long time. She was in a couple of the Scream movies, and of course, she was on Heroes.
Mhm.
And I have a little bit of a special personal connection to Heroes because that debuted 20 years ago, I believe, in 2006. And that is when I got my wisdom teeth out. And I knew I was going to be down for the count for 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it was, because it was, it's legit surgery, and depending on how serious it was, and mine was pretty serious. And I had prepared some stuff to like watch because you're just gonna be laying around drugged up for a couple of days. And Heroes had come out, and it was had picked up all this momentum, and I had them all saved on like TiVo or something. However many episodes were out at that time, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, and I hadn't watched them yet, and I was preparing to marathon them when I was recovering. And that's exactly what I did. And I got so into it. Save the cheerleader, save the world. Huh. I feel like that's a pop culture thing forever, maybe even more so now. But that made me sad. Very shocked and sad to see that. I'm sure you guys have feelings about it as well.
Yeah, that's a shame. It's a horrible shame.
Yeah. And, she was going to turn 37 at the end of the week
Yeah.
as well. So, similar age. So it's also kind of one of those,
Yeah.
realization things as well. And of
Far
course,
younger than me and Brad.
and who could also forget her and remember the Titans as
Mm-hmm.
well?
Right,
I mean, that was her
right.
breakout. That was the breakout
Remember the
role that got her
Titans.
noticed. And, she had such an iconic role in that as well. So,
Really sucks. RIP. And then I also just want to mention Frank Beard from ZZ Top. He passed away. At least he made it to 77. ZZ Top, bit of a legendary Southern rock type of band. And of course, very famously, even though his name was Beard, he did not have the iconic ZZ Top beard. And of course, they were all in Back to the Future 3, right?
That's all that matters.
there were.
All right, I know I went on, but I had to say that about those people.
Very good, Matt. Which brings us to hard boiled. Have you guys heard of the hatch?
From Lost?
Nope. It's like a alarm type of device, but
No.
it's way more than
Uh,
that. Well, it's
my next guess was an island in Ohio.
so there is this thing, and it is goes next to your bed, and it lightens up next to you as it wants to gradually wake you up. It starts to play music lightly in the morning, and all this is happening before your alarm. It also at night when we come upstairs, now this is not on my side of the bed. Let's get that out of the way. It also starts yawning and everything like that. I don't know all the details. All I know is this: it only wakes up one person in this room, and it's me. Okay, I'm getting up with the first part of the hatch. I'm getting up with both alarms that she freaking snoozes. It's not working. It's not working. The only one that wakes up is me. I don't want it in this house. I'm ready to take a freaking baseball bat to it because it's so ridiculous. Hatch. I'm out on it. Very hard boiled about it because I don't need to get up at 6:45. I need to get up at 7:10. And at 6:45 I'm the one waking up at the hatch, not her. That's for sure.
I've heard of it. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Is this
I
the
also
plan?
I've mentioned this before, but I only use an alarm if I have to like get up for a plane. Other than
Mine's just in case.
yeah.
Yeah.
My-
Is this Sue's plan though? Because my Sue does this. She'll set an alarm if she can't get up, but she knows I will, so then I have to wake her up.
I'm constantly I'm hitting her harder and harder every morning. Yeah, and I said that on air.
Yeah.
Second thing, Lotus went back to school, so we had like a back to school like brunch the other day. We went to this place in New Jersey called Cafe 72. Really nice place, really expensive place for a breakfast. I mean, it was the kind of place you would spend for dinner and drinks, and that's the kind of money I spent there. But the one thing that was very interesting there that made me very hard boiled was they don't serve water unless it's in a bottle. So I said, well, what is that about? They're like, oh no, we just don't have water. I'm like, you don't have water? You can't have this restaurant without having water. Half the stuff you cook is going to have water in it. So you're choosing not to serve water because you don't want to give anything for free. So you want to charge $3 for a bottle of water.
That's shitty.
It is shitty. I don't really get drinks unless it's alcohol or something like on at night. I don't get like soda or anything like that. I get water. Why? Because it gets the job done, and I can't get it here because you are choosing to be cheap.
Mhm.
I guess I'm the cheap one, right? Because I want something free. No, you're the cheap one. You're the
Yeah,
cheap one.
you wanted the most basic thing for free that probably should be tap water.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, and finally, I'm in line. I do buy a lottery ticket. When it was like $1 billion for Pennsylvania recently, so I was in line to buy a lottery ticket. One guy in front of me, but this guy wasn't the one buying the $1 billion ticket. This is the guy that stands it there and has like $20 and he's figuring it out and he's playing it as he goes and it's just driving you up a wall, right? But here's the best part of this idiot. This idiot is listening to a financial expert on his phone, not with ear pods in or AirPods in on his phone, a financial expert while he's paying for something that is the least financial makes the least financial sense in the world. Okay, the odds of
Yep.
you winning the lottery are not good. You're never ahead. You're never ahead.
No.
99% of the world is never ahead in the lottery. And you are listening to investment talk as you are putting dollar in, dollar out, $5 in, $5 out for scratch offs. You sir are an idiot and you're a fraud.
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 Hard
Oh,
boiled.
fraud. That's pretty
Hard
good.
boiled.
Pretty good.
Okay. Which brings us to blue ribbon
Okay.
eggs. Blue
Okay.
ribbon eggs are our achievements, correct?
Ooh. I think it was. Is it achievements? I don't think
I don't
it's
know.
that's. I don't think that's the word.
It counts. Same
Like
thing. Triumphs, whatever.
triumphs,
Triumphs.
triumphs, achievement,
Triumphs.
triumph. Okay. And we have Matt.
All right. I got two things. I will go quick.
Oh man.
My one is my son's blue ribbon egg, and I have to share this. Towards the end of the school year, we were at some school event and they had a jar of lemon head candies. You know what those are, right?
Yeah.
And it was one of those guess the amount in the jar. So he wrote down his guess, submitted it. A month went by, completely forgot about it. And then on the last day of school, I pick him up and he's carrying it. He won the contest.
Nice.
Awesome.
There was 159 lemon heads and his guess was 153. So I guess he was the closest without
And he
going
didn't go
over.
over either. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's the
Yeah.
best part, yeah.
So there's a victory there. All right. Now here's the real story. The radio station, the rock radio station that I grew up with around here was called 92.3 K Rock in New York. And it was, the late 90s, early 2000s. That was its era. And that was my music era. And they were always giving away tickets, you had to call. It was old school, right? You call up and you win tickets or whatever. They had this free membership card, and it was called the 92 free card. And it was one of those like, make sure you always have it on you. Make sure you always have it on you. You never know when you're going to need to whip it out and you get something for it, right? So the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who I love, were playing nearby. And I don't know, I didn't have tickets. My friend, she bought a bunch of tickets and she's like, "Oh, I forgot to ask you. I'm sorry." And I'm like, "You MFer, I always get you tickets to stuff and you left me out." It was an honest mistake. I didn't have tickets. I don't know. So I'm with my buddy and we're listening to the radio and they say, "Hey, in the next half hour, if you bring your 92 free card over to this diner nearby, we're giving away tickets to tonight's Chili Peppers concert." And we're like, "Oh my God, that's right here." And I've got one. Let's go. So we hustle over there. There's like a van. There's like people, some fanfare. I'm like, "This is amazing." I saw some guy pull up, walked over to them. They made it seem like you had to like earn it. Maybe you had to answer trivia or something. But as I'm parking, I see a kid walk up, show his card. They hand him tickets and he walked away. I don't even think he said anything. So I'm like, "Oh my God, they're just giving away free tickets." So I go up, take my wallet out. Card's not in there. The prior week, a friend of mine in college had gotten locked out of their dorm room, and I used that card to break in. You like slide it through slide it through the lock thing because it was the least valuable card in my wallet. I didn't want to use like my school ID or a credit card or something. And it destroyed the card, and I was like, I'll just get another one. They're free. And of course, I didn't put two and two together at the time, so I don't have the card on me. And my friend I'm with didn't have one. So I went up to the guy with like a sob story, and I was like, "Listen, I was trying to help my friend out," and he was like, "I have one pair of tickets left, and I'm leaving here in 10 minutes. If no one else shows up in 10 minutes, you can have it." And no one else showed up, and he gave me the tickets, and me and my friend went. And it was three bands. It was Mars Volta, who I despise, Queens of the Stone Age, who I love, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, who I love. And we were in the front of the floor. It was an amazing thing. And here's my favorite part. Like we're waiting for Chili Peppers to come on, and I remember I turned around and I waved up into the upper deck at my friend who didn't get me tickets when she got tickets. Boom.
Blue ribbon egg.
There it is.
Congratulations. So my blue ribbon egg is not mine. Uh, as we record this a couple days ago, Lotus is still here, and it was Monday, and she said she is going to take the train to New York for figure out some kind of concert. I didn't even know what she was talking about. But anyway, she leaves the house at 6:45 in the morning. I hear my phone go off that she left. I'm like, what is going on? 6:45 in the morning. She took the train to Madison Square Garden because Olivia Dean opened up tickets for her two sold out shows. There was a Monday show and a Tuesday show, but you could only get them if you went to the box office. So she gets there at 8:15, waits in line until 2 o'clock, gets the tickets, takes the train back home, gets changed. Her and her friend get back on the train, go to the concert, and she gets home at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Holy shit.
It's like a dedication and an achievement and a triumph
That
all
is
in
a
one.
crime.
I just couldn't believe she went by herself, okay, and did this and got it done and was one of the apparently after her, people were getting turned away. Like a few people after, because I guess people started waiting in this line for Olivia Dean, who I don't even know who Olivia Dean is.
Me neither.
Jazz pop is a good way to describe her. She'd probably not like that.
Played at the Garden?
2 nights in a row, sold out Monday, Tuesday.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's something amazing. That's something that I would have done at her age, but certainly not at this age.
4 train rides?
That's a lot.
No, that's crazy.
I mean, we're a good hour and a half to 2 hours on the train. She got back there at like 8 o'clock at night with her friend and home at 1 in the morning, left at 5:45 in the morning.
Wait, maybe I missed it. Did she have to pay for the tickets?
Yeah, she paid for them.
She paid for them.
She paid for it, but regular $100 price.
Yeah.
They were reselling them for big money.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it's the Garden as it is. You know what I mean? But they're always opening more tickets there.
So between Brad, Bryant, and Lotus, only one of those people has been to Madison Square Garden.
That's correct.
That's correct.
I mean, I've been outside of it many times.
I haven't even done that. So
Because that's where the train goes into, Bryant.
Sure, Penn Station.
Penn Station. All right, Bryant, what do you have for us?
What I have is super lame. Much like myself, guys. Much like myself.
Super lame.
As you have come to know after 87 episodes, I'm super lame. I have talked about before that I love physical media. It is something that they can't take away from you. You can lose streaming, you can lose all this stuff, but you'll always have physical media. A triumph for me is, as a nerd and as a collector, I want to own as much as possible. I want to have everything that I can. And as discussed, I have a giant collection out here of wrestling. It is a point of pride to me for some ridiculous reason, I know. A triumph to me is that there is a site out there, which I will plug them for the sake of themselves. It's called the Wrestling DVD Network. They put out a list. And this list is every WWE / WWF / WWE DVD ever made. And I decided I'm going to buy all of them. I'm going to find a way to get every one of them and own every single one of them. And for some ungodly, stupid reason, Sue didn't stop me. I pray she should have. She probably should have at some point, but she didn't. My triumph is that I was able to go DVD by DVD down this list and buy every single one of them. Find a way to get them. I traded some DVDs with some people in an effort to make this work. And a triumph for me is making my nerddom last forever. Because as the Raws go away, the SmackDowns go away, the pay-per-views get harder to find, I have them all. And they're all just sitting out here, letting me, being able to watch anytime I want and enjoy everything all the time. Triumph is nerddom.
We need some facts and figures here.
Okay.
We need a ballpark. How many DVDs are we talking about? We need a ballpark. How much money are we talking about?
It's at least, I can tell you that for sure. It's at least five figures for everything. For everything.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And what about, I mean, there must have been an era where they crossed over into Blu-ray instead of DVD.
Yep. And you still get, and I have the Blu-rays as well. So,
Yeah. Now,
and
what if they sold both?
I got both on some of them. I'll be honest. Some of them I did. The one, now I say US because our good friends overseas in England, they do their own. They had a Fremantle was their publisher, and they would actually just produce everything imaginable and make it like dual access DVDs. But because of their way they make their DVDs, they don't play here in America unless you have a special DVD player for all those because of the region differences and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, I mean, that's probably at least 300 DVDs for sure. I mean, and yeah, I mean, it's,
I don't even
yeah,
know what to say here.
I know. Yeah. But
Well,
it's every,
congratulations to you. I mean, I feel
right?
bad for
Yeah,
your checking account.
you should. I mean, it was a quick drain, but yeah, no, it's every pay-per-view, every DV, every biography, documentary, anything that they've made
Ever.
ever, it is outside the store right here.
We got plenty of room.
Plenty of room. I make it work. I find a way to make it all fit.
Congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
Which brings us to who knows, but this is going to be for Matt. Forgotten eggs.
Rotten eggs. It's gonna be quick, actually. I didn't realize this was a solo adventure here.
Sometimes I plan these certain things a certain way.
Yeah. Regrets. Right?
Yeah.
Right. I regret not going to Disney World with my wife before we had a child. Disney World is great. I love it. It's a lot of work. I've talked about it before. And of course, amazing to bring my child there. We enjoyed it so much when we brought him when he was 5. And we had already been together for over a decade. Why the fuck did we not go and just two grown-ups on their own grown-up schedule, not having to worry so much about wake up time and lunch time and bedtime and all the things that come along with raising a kid and making sure you're hitting all the right marks throughout the day. My parents did that. I mean, I was long an adult, but they were older and they went. It was just them and I think maybe one more like my mom's sister or something. And I'm like, that sounds great. I really regret that. And then more recently, there was a very brief period of time where they opened that Star Wars attraction, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, which was like a hotel stay, and it was like a completely immersive experience where you would go for like a weekend. I think it was only open for like 13 or 14 months. It was too expensive for the average person to want to go. Of course, I looked into it, and I feel like it was like $7,000 for 2 nights. And it's like, probably not going to do that. But I kind of thought it would be around for a long time. And when I got older, I would be more willing to spend or have that money, I guess. And it didn't last. So a little Disney regret there.
I get it. I don't think we think about it until you have kids sometimes. And then when you get there, you're like, wow, this would have been a great place without you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Epcot's got the whole drinking around the
Yeah,
world thing, and I'm like, this is fun. Like,
all the food.
again, amazing time in the times I've gone with my family, but it would have just been a different experience when I was younger and didn't have the added worry of having the kid.
I'm going to throw this question out here because it just, again, intrigue of me. Had you not, thought of this without your son, would you still have gone like as an adult just on your own, or was it just something like, hey, it only makes sense now?
I think it only makes sense now.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have realized that it was something, you know. So it's like a time loop here. I never
Yeah,
would have realized if I didn't have the kid.
I've already gone with your
Yeah,
son. Yeah.
yeah.
Matt, my buddy Turk that you've actually met a couple times, once when you were at my work and one time at my party, he's at Disney right now with his kids, and the first time with the kids, but he
Yeah.
did go to Disney for his honeymoon.
Oh,
Really? Oh,
Yeah. So he's done it. He's done with everything you've wanted to
yeah,
do now.
yeah.
he's living your life, Matt. There it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I wouldn't have gone to honeymoon. Honeymoon was an island situation for me.
Ah, yeah, I get it. All right, well, very good, Matt. It's a regrettable situation. Which brings us to the omelet, and we'll see how this goes. It's the dark side of baseball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some baseball players that just weren't very nice. Some of them you're going to know, some of them you may not. Most of them you're going to know. I'm going to start. This is going to be the longest one, so rest assured they're not all going to be like this. But Cleveland Indian outfielder and five-time All-Star Albert Bell was one of the most feared and protective hitters of the 90s, but was equally famous for a volatile temper, explosive outbursts, and numerous run-ins with opponent fans and media. The cork bat caper of 1994. During a game, opposing manager suspected Bell was using an illegal corked bat, which makes it easier to hit the long ball. After umpires confiscated and locked it in their office, a Cleveland teammate, famously Jason Grimsley, famously crawled through the stadium ceiling to break into the ref's room, swap it out for an innocent team's bat. The sheen was caught, and Bell received a 10-game suspension. Like, come on, dude.
It's an excellent story.
Bell was widely accused of dirty and overly aggressive play. He famously leveled second baseman Fernando Vina with a blatant forearm smash to his chin during a double play breakup and once pulled over a catcher aggressively, which is not always unusual. He also once refused to take first base. In a famous mental lapse and temper tantrum while playing for the Orioles, Bell was clipped by a pitch. Because he was angry about being denied a chance to swing for an RBI, he flatly refused to go to first base, yelling at the umpire and demanding the opposing pitcher throw the ball over the plate.
I mean, I love that clip. He was such a monster that he didn't want the free base. I love that.
He earned multiple suspensions over his career for charging the mound, throwing a baseball directly at a fan in the stands, and throwing a ball at a photographer. Bell despised reporters and frequently engaged in verbal tirades against the press. Most notably, during the '95 World Series, he screamed profanities at a group of reporters, including broadcaster Hannah Storm, who were trying to do their jobs in a dugout. There's the Halloween incident of 1995. Days after the '95 World Series ended, a group of trick-or-treaters egged Bell's house. Bell got out of his car and actively chased down one of the teenage youths, leading to a reckless driving fine and a civil lawsuit. Let it go, man.
Yeah.
While playing for the Chicago White Sox, Bell was charged with domestic battery after allegedly striking a strange girlfriend. Allegedly. Teammates and staff often walked on eggshells around him. He was known for silent, brooding anger and on occasion destroyed a locker room thermostat with a swing of his bat because he wanted the clubhouse kept freezing cold and didn't want anyone else altering the temperature. Well, that's it for Albert Bell, but he's an interesting character.
Yes, he is.
We all know about Babe Ruth, and I'm not going to get into all the rumors about Babe Ruth, but he is regarded as the biggest womanizer in baseball history, more so than Mickey Mantle. While his exact partner count is unrecorded and lost to history, his appetite for women was so vast that a private detective once caught him with 6 different women in a single night in Chicago. Ruth famously told a Yankees executive he would never give up women because they were too much fun. Teammates joked that his real workout happened after games, and his roommates famously quipped that he actually roomed with Ruth's suitcase because the player was rarely in the room with them. Darryl Strawberry, famous outfielder for the New York Mets, one of my favorite players of all time. I mean, he battled intense addiction. This is the addiction one. He battled intense addictions to cocaine, alcohol, amphetamines throughout and after his Major League Baseball career. Failed multiple drug tests, resulting in numerous suspensions by Major League Baseball, including a full season suspension in the year 2000, ending his career. He relapsed multiple times despite high-profile attempts at rehabilitation and comebacks. Arrested several times on charges related to domestic disputes, probation violations, and solicitation. Served time in Florida State Prison after violating probation stemming from a 1999 cocaine possession arrest. Admitted to severe self-centeredness, womanizing, lying, and cheating that destroys his first two marriages. Strained relationship with his older children who suffered growing up in the shadow of his public self-destruction. Openly acknowledged his own deep troubled childhood, marked an abusive alcoholic father, fueled by pain. Now, I think he's come a long way since. I would highly recommend, there's a 4-part series, 30 for 30, about the 86 Mets. I can't remember the exact name, but he spells it out. And definitely an interesting character, Matt. I'm sure you, being in that area, you knew him very well. I'm sure, Bryant, you were probably a little young.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm pretty sure I watched that 30 for 30. I love those.
Yeah. Because
I
there's
remember Keith Hernandez petting the cat.
because they have the 30 for 30 on the 86 Mets, but there's also a good 30 for 30. It's called Doc and Daryl. It's on
Yes.
Dwight Gooden and Daryl Strawberry together.
Also a big fan of Daryl or Doc.
So that's another one I could recommend to kind of show his story as well.
Let's get real serious. Former Major League Baseball outfielder, Chicago Cub Mel Hall, was convicted in 2009 of raping and sexually abusing underage girls who he had met through youth sports and coached in AAU basketball. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Woo!
He was on the Yankees.
It doesn't get any worse than that.
Yeah, he was a Yankee.
That's all I got to say about him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now this guy, New York Met and Philadelphia Philly. I think you can guess who I'm talking about. Lenny Dykstra. After filing bankruptcy in 2009, he illegally hid, destroyed, or sold off $400,000 worth of property belonging to his bankruptcy estate. This includes stripping expense fixtures, electronics, and a $50,000 sink from a mansion he bought from hockey star Wayne Gretzky. He pled guilty to 3 federal felony counts and served time in prison. He used a phony business name and fraudulent information to illegally lease high-end luxury cars from dealerships. This resulted in a 3-year state prison sentence. He was arrested after an incident where he allegedly threatened to kill an Uber driver. Police found cocaine, ecstasy, and marijuana in his possession during the arrest. He was arrested during a traffic stop in Pennsylvania. He avoided jail time by pleading guilty to drug paraphernalia charge and entering a substance abuse. He was sentenced to 9 months in jail for indecent exposure. He posted fake employment ads on Craigslist for personal assistants or housekeepers, then stripped naked and exposed himself to women when they arrived for the interviews. Okay. He was named in Major League Baseball's Mitchell Report. That's the steroid, if you don't know, and later admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs through playing career. I mean, him and everybody else, right? He also admitted to spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to hire private investigators to dig up blackmail material on the baseball umpires. You want to talk about being your worst enemy.
Yeah.
I mean, he was such a hustler. Worked so no brakes, all gas. It's what we hear that with a wrestler. He was just so, I think he batted 400 one year. Yeah. He was his own worst enemy, unfortunately. Roger Hornsby, one of the great baseball players of all time. He batted .358 lifetime hitter. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, second baseman. Hornsby spoke his mind directly and often cruelly, showing little patience for anyone who did not share his intense focus. He avoided normal hobbies like reading books and going to movies or watching theater because he believed it would ruin his eyesight for batting. His life revolved entirely around baseball, famously claiming that the winter he would just stare out the window and wait for spring. Now, these aren't terrible things, but it's weird. He was stubborn. He believed he knew better than everyone else and was frequently traded or fired despite his immense talent. Historical records note that he held prejudiced views and made offensive remarks. He had a severe horse racing and betting habit that accumulated large debts and caused friction with the team. As a manager, he was also universally hated after his owner, Bill Varick, fired him from the St. Louis Browns in 1952. The relief players brought Veek, a massive silver trophy. It was inscribed for the greatest play since the Emancipation Proclamation. While managing the Chicago Cubs in 1932, he refused to argue an umpire's call himself. Instead, he sent a player out to argue for him, who promptly got ejected. The team despised Hornsby so much that when they made the World Series later that year, after firing him, the players voted to deny him his financial share of the prize money. In 1961, he relentlessly mocked Roger Maris during Maris's historic chase for the home run record. When Maris later refused to take a photo with him, the 65-year-old Hornsby threw a tantrum to reporters, calling the 27-year-old Maris a little punk and a bush leaguer. Hornsby's horse racing addiction was completely out of control. He was allegedly caught placing bets on horse races from the dugout during the actual game. In 1927, he was sued for gambling fraud, narrowly escaping legal sentencing because the incident took place in Missouri, where the specific type of betting was legal at the time. He frequently accumulated massive debts that he tried to dodge or cover using questionable cash loans from team's executives. Renowned sports writer Fred Lieb stated that Hornsby admitted to being a member of the Ku Klux Klan, though he was never officially verified. When legendary Blacks pitcher Satchel Paige arrived late to an exhibition game, because while taxi drivers refused to pick him up, Hornsby entirely dismissed the racism Paige faced. He called it an excuse and tried to aggressively fine him. In 1923, Hornsby caused a public scandal when a love letter he wrote to a young married store clerk named Jeanette Pennington was exposed during her divorce proceedings. Immediately following the public backlash, Hornsby's own wife, Sarah, sued him for divorce, citing his quarrelsome nature and total indifference. So quite a lot about him.
Yeah.
Can we talk about one thing that's really important, though, to you, Matt, about him? His name's not Roger. It's Rogers. It is plural.
Rogers.
I think that is the most important part of that story.
That's an excellent detail. I want to know how he was placing bets from the dugout. Would he have a FanDuel on his iPhone?
I mean, that's what's crazy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he had a bookie and a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's this is the last one, and it's no surprise to anyone. Ty Cobb was a legendary baseball player known for extreme aggression, but many famous stories about him actually were myths and fabrications spread by an unreliable biographer named Al Stump. But there are some things. Let's talk about the stuff that are actually factual. Attacking a fan in New York in 1912. Cobb jumped into the stands to beat up a fan who was heckling him with severe racial slurs and insults. When suspended by the league, his Detroit Tigers teammates went on strike in protest. In 1909, Cobb got into a violent fight at a hotel with a young elevator operator after a dispute, and then stabbed the hotel night watchman with a knife when the watchman intervened and began beating Cobb in the face. He played with ruthless spike-high style that terrified opponents, frequently starting bench-clearing brawls and spiking basement on purpose. Through his life, Cobb fought with sports writers, umpires, managers, and everyday people like gas station attendants and waiters. He batted .366, Hall of Famer. He was on the same team for 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then these guys were just built different in the older times.
Yeah.
Like they smoked probably 10 packs a day. They didn't work out at all. They weren't. I guess you can blame a lot of this on being a part of a different time. That doesn't make sense for being evil.
No.
Anyway, dark side of baseball.
I'm surprised John Rocker didn't make it in there.
I had to clean it up. I was going to talk about Milton Bradley a little bit too, but I wanted to keep Bradley out of my mouth.
Mm.
So, what'd you guys think? One and done? Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I mean, you could do dark side of other things.
I mean, it's way worse in the other sports.
It's true.
I thought about combining them. Like I had three right off the bat that I could have talked about for a half hour in basketball. So let's,
That's true.
Which brings well, thanks for listening and trying stuff new. We always do. Missing eggs, and this is the stuff that we miss. We wish was still around. That brings us to you, Bryant.
My missing egg isn't more of that it's not around anymore. I just miss the feeling of it and being there. When I was a kid, we had our local mall here, and one of the go-to spots in that mall wasn't the music store or the certain shopping spots. It was the arcade. As I'm at Walmart now, they sell the arcade systems that you can take into your home. It has usually, I think it's 5 or 6 built-in games to it already. I was admiring the one that had Street Fighter and all the Street Fighter games on it. But it just made me nostalgic for that moment where you and your friends run in there with your coins and you're hitting the pinball machines. You're playing these arcade games because you got to beat your friend's score. You can't be the one with the low score on the game. And you're just running around and trying out all these different games and going to all these places. I think it's what makes a Dave and Buster's, for example, such a great spot to go to, and where you see a lot of adults in there now trying to relive those games a little bit and have that fun. I recall a trip I took with friends of the show, Zoe Lopez and Bobby Duncan, where we went to Wichita and we went for food, we all agreed on one spot. It's called the arcade. We just want to go play arcade games and have fun and make it kind of a fun adventure for us all. And I just think that moment and that camaraderie of with your friends, you're playing these games, you're cheering your friends on, watching these games. It's just something I miss, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm a little older than Matt, but I'm a lot older than you, Bryant. And arcades were everywhere when
Mm-hmm.
I was a kid, like at the mall. And then I could walk to one, like, or ride my bike to one and, give them a dollar, $2 bill. You got your 8 quarters and played for a little bit. I miss it too.
Yeah, everybody loves an arcade, and I get to go to them now with my son because, of course, he loves them too.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a few years in a row we would go to in nearby there was this place called Barcade, very clever. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a grown-up bar establishment, but they had all of the classic arcade games there. And one year we went and I don't know how much money I spent, but the original Simpsons arcade game was there and we
Mm-hmm.
sat
Yep.
there and put quarters into it until we beat it. And it was the first time I'd ever beaten it.
I mean, Dave and Buster's still,
And like yeah, that's why I mentioned Dave and Buster's. It still
yeah,
has that arcade feel. You eat, you play, but it's a lot different because at that
Different.
point too, it's not the same games. It's
a
those
different
newer
level of
games.
money
It's
too.
different level oh, absolutely different level of money for sure.
It's different. There's the games are different. There's a lot more interactive things.
Mm,
That doesn't necessarily make them better.
No.
no,
Feels more like a ripoff as well.
Yeah, it is. And
yeah,
it
it
is.
is. It
But
is
it's
too.
it's good once in a while, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
something you can go to every day when you were a kid and
Brad quota.
throw a few bucks at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I went was with you, Matt, and it was on a Top Guy weekend.
Oh shit. Is that true?
Yeah, that's the last time I've gone to Dave and Buster's. When Nick
Yeah,
Gage was there for some reason.
he was. But I didn't enter the arcade area though.
All of a sudden, I see Mike Whitaker with a picture with Nick Gage. I'm like, when did this happen? On
Yeah.
Facebook. I mean, I'm sitting next to Mike 5 minutes ago. Well, very good, Brian. So for me, then I guess about 10 years ago, I worked at a place, and next door to it was a restaurant called Chris Croy. And we would get food from there occasionally. And they had this special, and it was just a blackened chicken sandwich, and it was just a lunch special. But it was the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. And I never had a blackened chicken sandwich before that, and I've had many, many since then, and nothing holds up to that. And of course, a few years later, the place closed, and now it's owned by Stadium. Matt, you might know what those are, right? You have Stadium Bar and Grills by you because we got a lot of them around here. Okay,
No, I don't
so
think so.
my big missing thing is like you have a food that you really love, and you are never ever gonna have it again, and that is what's happened here. I mean, now I got that once a week, and now I'm never gonna have it again. And you know what? I've been to restaurants, I've seen the blackened chicken sandwich on there, I've ordered it. It's just not the same. Missing egg.
Yeah, I could, if I had time to think about it, I could come up with some that fit there.
Yeah. All right, Matt, that brings us to you.
I guess it's a concert venue that I used to go to a lot, and it was in New York City, man, I just loved it, and it shut down. So let me give you the details. It's called Roseland Ballroom, a multi-purpose theater built in 1922. Now, a lot of the places in New York City like this are called such and such a ballroom because it really was a ballroom, like for like dancing, like, 100 years ago. So it opened in 1992, but it closed on April 7th, 2014. It was located in Manhattan on 52nd Street and Broadway and was adjacent to the Ed Sullivan Theater, which was the home of The Late Show, of course. So for concerts, standing room was 3,200 capacity. It also had like an upstairs rail for another 300 in like a VIP sort of environment. Hard to describe why it was so good. I've been to many different venues and I don't know, sight lines or the height of the stage or the sound. It just had all the intangible things that made it a really comfortable place to see a show. Would you like to hear the list of artists that I saw there?
I would.
Go for it.
No Doubt, Primus, which of course is Les Claypool's band. Oysterhead, who knows what that is? That is a
Nope.
supergroup that included Les Claypool and Trey from Fish, and the drummer was Stuart Copeland from The Police.
It's weird.
So
That's a great combination.
really great
Great name.
concert. I saw another Fish side project there called Vita Blue. That's the Page, the keyboardist side project. And apparently I saw Les Claypool there a third time. And this band was called Colonel Claypool's Bucket of Bernie Brains because it was Claypool, Buckethead, Bernie Worrell, and Brain, a drummer. Audio Slave, pretty great band. It's Chris Cornell and all the non-singing members of Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello, and The Offspring. So pretty good collection of stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Matt bands in there.
Got a theme on that one. I did notice. Yes.
The final performer in 2014 was Lady Gaga. And the batch of concerts that place got were sort of inherited by a nearby place in the city called Terminal 5. And Terminal 5 fucking sucks. It was a infamous nightclub in like the 90s and early 2000s, like one of those like rave type of clubs.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't really cut out to be a concert venue. It just got converted into one, and it just doesn't cut it.
Got it.
So I miss Roseland Ballroom.
No, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Do you still have House of Blues around?
Last I knew, there was one in Atlantic City, and I don't think that's even there.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Those were good places too. I mean, they were like a chain restaurant almost, but they were cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good. Bryant, I gave you a layup. I'm sure you
Appreciate
got 10 of
that.
these laying around.
I do.
Eggs Benedict. By the way, which is both my wife and daughter had at that restaurant that charged too much for the eggs and everything and no
How
water.
much was the Eggs Benedict? Let me guess.
Yeah.
$28.
Deb's order, Sue's order. Shit.
Ah!
There it is.
You got a $12 coffee.
Come on.
What?
Yeah, no bourbon in that. None.
Did they go across the street to Starbucks to get it?
Did they? Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I
They
got an
ordered. They
$8 plate of,
DoorDash it?
I got a side of bacon. It was $8. Like it was insane, but it was great. That's the problem.
that's the problem.
It was really
It's
freaking
so
good.
good, yeah.
The place was packed and it was moving and it was loud. It was like a lot of fun. But then I got the bill, and I wasn't even hungry anymore. Who wants to pay for the food that they're not hungry?
What am I buying all this food for?
Sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, of course we got to bring that up. I mean, Eggs Benedict with Eggs Benedict. I mean, come on. So Eggs Benedict, favorite turns, and naturally, again, the nerd in me. We're going to talk some wrestling, and we're going to talk about a famous turn of a bad guy who was one of the most dastardly heels of his time. Him and his tag team partner ran roughshod, but eventually he sees the light and becomes this good guy. And naturally, of course, I'm talking about Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes breaks into the business in 1967, trains up in Boston, drives from Texas to Boston to train, uses his friendship with Bobby Duncombe and the Funks to get into training. When he gets into the business, he doesn't want to be the good guy. He wants to be the bad guy because in his mind, the bad guy is the one that people come to see, that draws the money, that people want to come to hate. It's not until later on in that year, in 1968, that he moves on to Texas, goes back to Texas, joins World Class, and meets a very genius of his time manager by the name of Gary Hart. Gary Hart sees the future in Dusty, mentions a name change, which he shoots down, but just sees the potential in him, mentions him to Fritz Von Erich, who's the promoter, and says, this is the guy that could be something for us. Naturally, as you do in that time, though, you leave. And later in 1968, he finds his tag team partner, Dick Murdoch, and they become the Texas Outlaws. This tag team runs roughshod through every promotion they go to, whether it be in Texas or in Mid-South. They went to the AWA and had stints there. Kansas City had stints there, winning tag team titles all over as these just dirty outlaws. As they said, they're these Texas Outlaws. They cheat at every turn. They choke their opponents. They get the crowds riled up. They do everything they can to just incite riots if they could. But then Dusty gets his break and goes down to Florida. Teams up again with Gary Hart, who is this dastardly manager who's just bringing in all these heels to challenge Eddie Graham, who is the promoter and booker of the territory. But then Gary brings in this particular person named Pak Song, who is this wrestler from Korea. At the time, we're in the Korean War. You have this wrestling has this great thing with stereotypes if you bring in these foreign heels. Well, Dusty doesn't like this. This is not somebody that Dusty wants to associate with. But Gary assures him, no, this guy's with us. We're going to take everybody out and we're going to run Florida. But then in one match, Pak Song misses Eddie Graham and he hits Dusty Rhodes. And Dusty's in the corner. But something different happens this night. Now, the crowd's not booing Dusty. Now they're cheering him. They want him to go after Pak Song. They want him to go after this dastardly foreign heel. And Dusty feeds on the crowd. And that's what he does. He turns around, pulls Pak Song around, and hits him with his famous bionic elbow. And in one moment, Dusty Rhodes, this horrible heel, this guy who traveled the territories as this bad guy known all over, in one moment, becomes the biggest baby face in Florida. Changes his entire persona, becomes the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, the common man. And it just took one moment and one spot. And it didn't just change his fortune in Florida. It changed his fortune across the entire country. It leads to a run in the WWF where he would challenge Billy Graham for the world title, all off of one moment going from this horrible heel to the baby face that he would maintain for the rest of his entire wrestling career.
Awesome. Hard times, man.
Yes, hard times.
Now, let me ask you, Brian, you're young for Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
So your first time seeing Dusty Rhodes is after the polka dots, correct?
Yes.
So he's already done, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is all just you watching old stuff.
Correct.
Because you're way younger than us. Let's get that out of the way. You're 36?
I just turned 37, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep, nope. Everything is post, yeah, because he was polka dots basically 89 to 91.
Because I feel like I was young for the polka dots. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not young, but youngish.
Yeah. So yeah, no, when I started getting into full fandom that I can remember, he was already done, already a commentator.
He was managing his sons at some of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Just so everybody knows what the polka dots means, that's what he wore when he was in WWF.
Yeah.
Just those of you at home that don't watch wrestling. Most of you should know who Dusty Rhodes are, though. There is, though. Go ahead, Matt.
I don't even, I mean, of course I know all about Dusty and love the history and everything, but it's like, I didn't watch or go back and watch these things, you know? Mm-hmm. Maybe if it made its way into like a WWE documentary or a Dark Side of the Ring episode or something.
Yeah.
But there's so much present day wrestling, I can't even watch it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, the clip the spot I mentioned where he attacks Pak Song, that is on YouTube. You can find that on YouTube now. You just watch the crowd turn to get him to that moment, and seeing the crowd erupt when he does hit him with that elbow is just incredible to see.
And you have a lot of rewatching to do now.
Yeah.
Your collection.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, fantastic, Bryant. We all love Dusty Rhodes. Matt, this episode just flew by.
Flew by.
Why don't you go ahead and hit us with the social? Before I do that. No, go ahead. That's usually what you say.
Before I do that, I'm connecting something Bryant said earlier about Hayden Panettiere. I guess you guys were born in like the same month.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You made a comment that didn't really click until you just said that about your age, because she was about to turn 37.
Yep. I'm a week and a half older than she is.
Yeah, there you go. Little kinship there.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks. That about her.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we are 3 Eggs Are Better Than One, cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at 3 Eggs Are Better Than One. The number 3, the letter R, the number 1. Like, subscribe, and comment. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 3 Eggs Are Better. The number 3, the letter R. And our individual accounts at YesManBrad, at BHaremza. I am at Purple Shirt Guy Without the Eye. Apologies to Bober, we ran out of time. Bryant, next week, what do you got for us?
So last week, I talked about a dinosaur selling for $50 million. And it just tumbled me down a rabbit hole of what are these weird things people are buying at these auctions? Whether it be movie, wrestling, sports. What memorabilia are people buying at auctions? So next week, I'm going to talk about some of these weird items. Is it more dinosaurs? Is it things from movies, sports? What's the highest? What's the what's something that's gone for the most money that you wouldn't expect? We're going to talk about that next week.
I like it.
So,
Keep it rolling.
on that note, we thank you guys for joining us this week. We hope you gain some information about some baseball players. You know, we talked about some things we missed, but the one thing we always want is to hear from you guys. We love the comments. We love talking to you guys. Keep all that coming. So, on that note, the egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.
$12 coffee.